Veterans Voice is a show that connects veterans and active members of the military to qualified guests who help you find programs and benefits you qualify for and discuss housing, education, career training, and other topical matters. Every show addresses issues that affect your life. Each week, Veterans Voice will begin with a story from one of our veterans about his or her experiences in the military. We want to thank these veterans for sharing these stories with us. Call in and share your experience. 781-837-4900. And now, a voice from one of our veterans.
Just go through it, huh?
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, so I can understand a lot of the veterans that are dealing with the problems with post-traumatic stress disorder, substance abuse issues. I went through that same thing in my lifetime. So just I like to show the vets things can get better. Takes a little work, but things can get better. Along with suicide if they're having the thoughts of that. You know, they don't need to do a permanent solution to a temporary problem.
Sure. And what kind of statistics are out there right now, Chuck? Let's if we could put a number on some of on this issue a little bit. And the number doesn't speak enough, but what kind of numbers?
Well, the numbers right now through the VA and Department of Defense, all those in Washington D.C. are saying 22 veterans a day are dying by suicide.
It's a shocking number. People don't realize that. In my experience, you tell people that, and they're completely shocked at that.
Right.
It's that high of a number.
22 a day.
What that adds up to in a year.
22 a day, but see, I'm a firm believer that the number's higher.
Wow. I agree.
Really?
The number's higher because you have people veterans that are dying on the street that are homeless, but we don't know if they're vets. So you don't know that. You can even look back into the prison systems here in the United States. You have over 250,000 veterans.
Really?
In the prison systems, in the jails here in America.
Yeah, there are more Vietnam veterans incarcerated than were killed in Vietnam.
No.
That was 55,000. Yeah.
57,000.
Wow.
Exactly.
I know we work. I'm pretty good friends with Bill Milholm from the Department of Corrections.
Right.
And his MOS is the 755 or whatever incarcerated veterans in the Massachusetts prison system right now.
We got a letter from one of them.
And what he's trying to do is and I'm going to send this out there, folks. He desperately needs mentors to go in and talk to these veterans that are behind bars right now. Just go in and be a friend. You get training, you get all the pre-jail training that really to get you started. But he's had this program running. He only has 4 or 5 volunteers right now.
Right. And let me and I'll add on to that. And the reason being is a lot of the veterans may have had some type of criminal background. Maybe they did some time and they're out there now doing the right thing.
Yes.
You know, they're living a productive life in society.
Sure.
They can't go back in and mentor those people.
Right.
That's an issue that they have to take a look at.
Sure.
You know, see how long the individual may have been out of jail, what they're doing now in their life, and they can go back in and help these veterans get back out into society.
Sure.
You know?
And now we're talking about this incredible number of veterans. Is it spread among all ages, or is it the Vietnam era veterans that are most afflicted right now? Or
Well, the latest numbers that I have, 70% of all deaths by suicide for veterans are 50 or older.
wow.
So you have over 8,000 veterans dying by suicide. Over 5,000 of them are 50 or older.
That's by a year, right?
Yes, that's a year.
Wow.
That's a year.
8,000 a year.
And so they have been out of the service for 5 years, 10 years,
Vietnam
15, 20 years,
Yeah.
Right.
30 years,
30,
whatever.
40, 50.
Right.
And I guess it's been festering inside this person or these numbers for so long.
Right.
And are there some outward features or some outward
Signs,
hints
yeah.
that one could look at a friend or a relative and say, boy, it seems like something's a little bit troubling?
Well, absolutely. One of the biggest signs can be as simple as saying, yeah, I'm all done with life. You know, life's too much for me. It could be something as simple as them starting to give away prized possessions that they have. Maybe they're paying off their bills so their loved ones don't have to pay those debts. They might be stockpiling medication that they're on. And that's a whole other story, because if they die by an overdose, nobody really knows if it was a suicide. Unless the coroner or they leave some type of affidavit behind saying, I just couldn't take it anymore. I took these pills.
Well, same thing with car accidents and motorcycle accidents, things like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, they might be chasing that adrenaline rush. Because a lot of people don't know if you've never been in combat. The adrenaline rush that you're going through, that high, it's a high you'll never get again.
Yeah. The best thing I ever heard, I heard it recently too, is someone told me that combat is like a dance. And you're dancing to the music, and then when you redeploy home, the music stops, but you keep dancing.
Wow, that's
And
good.
it was pretty powerful.
Yeah. I believe you could double that number.
And now we're talking, what, 16,000?
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because you just don't know until an investigation is done.
If I were to see someone that I thought was in trouble, what should I do?
Well, it's part of the South Shore and Cape Cod Suicide Prevention Coalition that I belong to. I'm their vet rep for that. We do trainings for QPR, and QPR stands for Question, Persuade, and Refer. And I go around, I just did a huge training of 45 veterans and veteran family members down at Cape Cod Community College in December. These are the people with the boots on the ground. They're out there dealing in their communities, dealing with people, and we train them on what to look for, what to ask.
Sure.
And we've trained thousands here in Massachusetts.
Really?
And this is a worldwide program, you know. So, as I was saying to somebody earlier today, the vet or anybody, just ask the question. If you see something that's not right, ask them. Ask them what's going on. What are you feeling right now? Are you thinking about taking your own life? Is this something you're considering? And most of the veterans that I work with, they say, thanks for asking that question.
Just be very blunt.
I'm a very blunt person.
Yeah.
But my role is being a certified peer specialist. I'm not a doctor. I'm where these people have been. That gives me the credibility with them.
Sure.
So I can ask that question without offending them.
Sure.
You know?
Sure.
And I never ask the question when they're leaving my office, walking out the door. Because most vets are just going to look back at you and say, hey, I'm all set.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
Yeah.
You know, I got another appointment, or I got to go. I'm going to Mickey D's.
How many folks how many veterans do you speak to in a week or in a month, Chuck? That and do they come into you looking for help? Or are you finding them? Or
It works both ways, because I work on the streets in Somerville, down into Boston, all over Boston, Somerville, Cambridge, Arlington. I belong to a team. There's 4 of us. We're all over, from Haverhill, Gloucester, Beverly, Lowell, Lawrence, the areas that I talked about. Plus, I do work down on the South Shore, down on Cape Cod. So my numbers can fluctuate. You know, I'll get phone calls from family members telling me that, their son or their brother or their sister are having problems right now. Can I see them? And I'll drive anywhere in the state. I've got almost 200,000 miles on my truck, and it's only 3 years old.
so
Wow.
all you folks that are listening right now, if you've got a question to ask Chuck, please give us a call at 781-837-4900. Evan, you want to check
Yeah,
in a
can I
little
jump
bit?
in real quick?
Absolutely, Evan.
I just wanted to make a comment. Chuck, you mentioned that a lot of the vets, the majority of vets that are committing suicide are of an older
I
generation.
gotta fix you there, and excuse me for saying this, but we don't like to say commit suicide, because you might have committed a crime by robbing a bank. It's not a crime if you take your own life. It's not a crime.
So how do you describe, what's the proper way to describe it?
Somebody died by suicide.
Okay.
Death by suicide.
Good point.
I don't like to use commit.
Wow, thanks.
Thank you for correcting me.
Yeah, thanks for me too.
I just wanted to say that as a post 9/11 vet, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, 2009 was a big spike year for death by suicide. And that was a big year that we had an uptick in training within the service, where service members would get some quarterly training, semi-annual training into how to identify some of the
Signs?
the signs
Yeah,
of
the ACE program, right?
Right.
That's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
resiliency training. Is that?
No,
it's different.
Completely
Okay.
different.
Okay.
And I guess just the comment or question I wanted to ask was whether those were in place in the older generations of
Well,
veterans.
Kyle, you're a little bit before Evan. Was it there for you?
No, we pretty much had pretty much the same time frame when we were in, and yeah, I remember it too. I think it was 2009,
Yeah.
and that's when it was really on DoD's radar, the Department of Defense, when they really started pushing out programs.
And Chuck, I'm sure it wasn't around when you were.
No,
in the
absolutely
service.
not. Absolutely not. And the problem, even today, in the other guests that are a lot younger than I am, now in the service, the veterans aren't going to their first sergeant or something like that to say that they're having a problem. They want to stay with their comrades,
Right.
and it's what we call a strike killer. So if you're
Yep.
up for promotion,
Yep.
that could stop that promotion because you're having a mental health issue.
Sure. Sure.
And it's the stigma. It's always been a
Right.
stigma of having some type of mental health issue.
Wow. Evan, you felt that when you were in? That did you feel there was like if you said something that you would be lowering your
Promotional-
position, your
yeah.
promotional ability?
I think there was definitely the personally I didn't deal with that, but I can definitely understand where that's coming from. And if I could just say one more thing real quick about
Absolutely.
How you were saying that you have to be direct in terms of that. That's one of the things they really push. You can't beat around the bush with that. You have to be direct. You have to ask the question flat out. Because that's the only way you're going to get an honest answer.
Sure. Evan, and I'd just like to ask, Evan, could you just tell us a little bit about yourself? And we know why you're here with Charlie tonight, but you went in the service, and just a couple of seconds about that and what you're doing right now.
Sure. I enlisted in the Army about 8 years ago, almost to the day, actually. I got out in 2011. I was an intel analyst for 3rd Special Forces Group, stationed at Fort Bragg. I did a tour in Afghanistan from 07 to 08, and I just recently graduated from college, so used my GI Bill benefit.
Very nice. Where'd you go to school?
The Art Institute in Brookline.
Very nice.
Yep.
Very nice. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And you were able to use your GI Bill, and it all went through okay.
Yeah,
Excellent.
great
Excellent.
program.
But this is just such a topic that if it's topical, it's just so unbelievable right now. These numbers are absolutely flooring me, Chuck.
Yeah, the numbers are staggering, but there's a real new push out there to work with veterans, to get them into the VA, get them working with the Department of Veterans Service SAVE team here in Massachusetts. You have other outreach, private programs, nonprofits down in Plymouth. You have the Nathan Hill Veterans Outreach Center.
Yeah.
Chris Hart does some great work down there, and he opened up another outreach center over in Middleborough.
They talk about PTSD and those problems.
Dave Stone comes in.
Oh, I know Dave very well. He's
Dave
been on
comes
the
in
show.
on,
Yep.
he comes in on Wednesdays down in Plymouth and works with the veterans there.
Great.
A vet can just call there and they'll get in contact with somebody
Beautiful.
down that
Yeah.
down that way to work with them. In the South Shore Coalition, we do a lot of work down there.
Is there?
with the
Do you have a phone number for the South Shore Coalition, Chuck?
I Yeah, actually, it's just our own phone numbers. So I'm glad
would
to
you
give
mind? Would you mind
No,
giving
no,
that out?
absolutely not.
'Cause I'd like to give it out a couple of times.
Absolutely.
You know, if that's okay,
Yep.
so that all I get.
If somebody's
any
out there having a
listeners-
problem, they more than glad, please give me a call.
And what would that number be, Chuck?
508-631-1201.